Welcome back, gents and gentlemen. For the next adventure, we're going to visit the land of the dead. Obviously. Don't worry though, we're still going to make this a family-friendly show. But warning, it does have spoilers. That's right, gents and gentlemen. Today we're talking about everything you missed in Pixar's latest movie, Coco. Try to find these 5 Easter eggs that I hid in this very video and be the very first person to find all 5, and you're gonna win your very own spirit dog. Include hashtag Coco in your comment to be entered to win. I will also randomly be picking another winner to get a free book of over 100 Coco stickers. Sorry, parents.
That was a lie. I apologize for that.
Coco is just as much about family as it is about music. The Rivieras are a family of shoemakers, which is what the sign here translates to, and we learn the history of the Rivieras. All started with their great-great-grandmother, Imelda, when she made her very first shoe. If Disney ever made an ofrenda, we all know that Walt Disney would be at the top for starting it all. But of course not for making his very first set of shoes, instead it would be for making his very first animation. On March 21st, 1921, Newman Laughograms was shown in theaters. This was technically Walt's very first film he ever made. So the Rivieras have been a familia de zapateros, or otherwise family of shoemakers, since 1921, just like Walt Disney and his familia de cineastas? Familia de cineastas, I think that's how you say it, would be his own family of filmmakers. So as long as we're being educated about Disney, I should mention many Disney and Pixar animators studied at California's Institute of the Arts. And A113 is a room number many artists will sneak into their work to pay a little bit of a tribute to a classroom from Cal Arts. In Coco, when they go to the customs office in the land of the dead, we can see A113 is on the door. Also, another time we can see A113 is on one of Ernesto de la Cruz's records. Right here in the corner it says A113 Entertainment. Steve Jobs was one of the founding fathers of Pixar, which probably is why we see an Apple computer in the land of the dead. But why in the world is it such an old version of Apple and not some brand new Mac or something cool like that? Well, if you notice, the technology is extremely old and outdated in the land of the dead. Like the train cars, for example, or the phones, or the walkie-talkies. Come on, who's using walkie-talkies nowadays? That's because this is taking place in the land of the dead, and all this technology is dead technology. Another tradition Pixar has carried on besides the A113 is using the voice of John Ratzenberger in all of their films. Pixar believes that his voice brings their movies good luck. Well, they didn't forget to include him in Coco either. We can see that John that guy, we can see him right there, coming to our world because his dentist put up his picture in his office.
Gracias.
Not surprising though, because his last name is basically orthodontics in English. That's the whole braces dentist, people. And let's take a little bit closer look at that dentist office though. Recognize the cabinets? This is the same exact dentist from Finding Nemo. Speaking of Finding Nemo, now here's an Easter egg I'm not exactly sure of, so I'm gonna let you decide. On the ofrenda, it's possible we see a unique version of Nemo hiding in the flowers. I say unique because his fin is the size of a sailboat. Also, when Miguel's running to the city, we also get a chance to see a few more characters, like our friends from the ocean on the table full of Libres, like Marlin, or Dory, or Destiny. All of these characters have oversized fins though. It could be because they're spirit guide versions of the original characters.
Hey, Dante!
But where in this world, or the next, did Miguel get the name for his dog slash spirit animal? Unfortunately, Miguel actually got his name from Ernesto de la Cruz. If you listen closely in the party scene, you will hear he calls his horse Dante. If you look closely though at the details, Pixar gave you hints that Ernesto de la Cruz is not actually Miguel's great-great-grandfather.
Dimple on this side, but not on this side. Dimple, no dimple. Dimple, no dimple.
Dimples is a genetic trait. You basically got dimples because your ancestors have dimples. But an even more genetic trait that we get besides dimples from our ancestors is a cleft chin. Without going all nerdy, basically it's a dominant gene, which means if your ancestors had a cleft chin, not always, but most often that means you have a cleft chin. If you see Ernesto de la Cruz, he has a big cleft chin. However, no one in Miguel's family seems to have one. Usually we can't tell if Hector actually has a cleft chin or not, but when he's trying to sneak across the border, we can see his face hair is gone, and of course, there's no dimple chin.
That was a lie, and I apologize for doing that.
Speaking of the border, it looks like these two guys are trying to sneak something across the border back into the land of the dead. However, I can't exactly tell what it is. When you watch Coco, did it make you cry? Vote now, yes, no, maybe so. Fun little fact, when I went with my sisters, we actually cried twice. But we're a little bit of a weirdo, so when we started crying, we started laughing to cover up our cries, then we're crying because we're laughing, and then we're just confused. And everyone was looking at us. Vote.
I don't think he's a spirit guide.
Fun little fact, hyenas actually are not members of the dog family. I still think though that this is a reference to Ed from Lion King.
Well, he started it.
If you already followed me in the Toy Story journey, you will see Sid sneaks his way into more movies than just the first Toy Story. So did Coco just put a hint that Sid died? Gabby on Twitter asked the director Lee Unkrich, and he simply said they liked the same band. So perhaps this isn't Sid, however, that is the same shirt that Sid wore. And the musician looks a lot like Skrillex. Remember, that was the DJ that we saw in Wreck-It Ralph. If you watch me talk about everything you missed in Tangled, you may hate me for this next one, but look closely at the broom. Look familiar? Now before you go all keyboard warrior on me, in Coco we can see the broom much clearer than we could in Tangled. And you can clearly see the broom has a curve to it with a very distinct bend at the same exact spot of the broom in Brave. And it's held together by twine in the same exact spot. I'm calling this an Easter egg to Brave. Same broom, it's magical.
Your broom!
Pixar's next movie is going to be the movie Incredibles 2. So we know there's going to be an Easter egg hinting to The Incredibles 2. This one's going to be more obvious than they have been in the past, like a Band-Aid. When they're shooting off fireworks in the land of the dead, if you look closely to the right, you're going to see on the wall, that's right, The Incredibles graffiti. I like turtles.
Something's wrong with you.
Another fun Easter egg Pixar likes to hide in their movies is the Pixar ball.
Oh.
When Dante is chasing the monkey around, if you look closely on the table really fast, you're gonna see the Pixar ball is sitting on the table.
How about that?
They have a lot of secret nods to Mexico, as this is Pixar's love letter to Mexico. One thing in Mexico that's really big is their soccer, probably as much as most Americans are about football. Not me so much though. When Miguel announces he wants to play music, you can see one of Miguel's family members is wearing Mexico's Olympic men's soccer colors, the green with the white stripes on the shoulders. Another thing that Pixar noticed on their research trip is that Pixar is actually a big thing down in Mexico. They found Buzz and Woody all over the place. They also saw a lot of handmade piñatas of Pixar characters, so they naturally included that in the movie right there. So this is partly an Easter egg and partly a reflection of what they actually saw when they went on their research trips. Usually Pixar takes about 4 years to make a movie. However, they took the longest time to make Coco. They started work on Coco all the way back in 2011. In fact, it took so long, the original voice for Miguel was going to be Emilia Fuentes, but because it took so long, he grew up and his voice changed into an adulter voice. So they had to get Anthony Gonzalez to be the voice of Miguel instead. However, Emilio didn't get completely axed out of the movie. He's the voice of this stagehand right here.
Places, senor, you're on in 30 seconds. Places, senor, you're on in 30 seconds.
At the very end of the movie, they included their own ofrenda, a wall of photos, to the people across time who supported and inspired them. If you look near the middle of that frame, you're gonna see Walt Disney himself. Do you recognize anyone else in here? But wait, there's more! Did you think I was really gonna forget to mention the famous Pizza Planet truck? When Miguel is looking out the window, if you slow it down just a tad bit, you can see the Pizza Planet truck screams by.
No music.
Another thing, we saw this rusted scooter right here in Ratatouille. Then we saw it got trashed in WALL-E. Now we get to see it rusted out in Coco. Now I realize it's not red in Coco like it was in Ratatouille. But the Statue of Liberty wasn't always green either. Metal changes color as it ages and dies. I hope you enjoyed our journey today. Click that thumbs up if I showed you an Easter egg you didn't already know about. Find the hidden Easter eggs I put in this video for your chance to win your very own Dante. And don't forget to include hashtag Coco for your chance to win. If you like this shirt, you can get it today at crazynate.com. Subscribe so you don't miss our next adventure though. And remember, most importantly of all, Gent and Gentlets, whether you're in this world or the next, share a smile. They are contagious.
Hey, share a smile. They're contagious. Can you imagine a day without smiling? Whew, that would be outrageous. Thanks for stopping by and hanging out with Crazy Nate. Make sure to leave a thumbs up if he left you feeling great. Have fun and we'll see you next time. And don't forget to subscribe.
Huh?